Welcome to Bodhi Unified Flow. I'm your host, Dr. Mari Muthu, and here we're all about simplifying complexity to amplify performance. You know, in construction, the costliest mistake is often the one you actually end up building. So today, we're diving into one of the most critical phases, pre-construction planning. We're going to explore how setting up the right teams and workflows from day one can truly make or break a project. So what's our goal for this session? Well, by the end of this, you'll be able to see the night and day difference between old school planning and the modern approach. You'll know exactly who needs to be on your team, and you'll really get the principles behind the workflows and the tech that makes it all click. So let's jump right in. Here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by looking at the biggest challenge of the traditional way, what I call the silo problem. Then we'll pivot to the solution, the integrated team. We'll look at who's on this team, how a digital workflow keeps them all connected, and finally, why this new way of thinking is, well, building a better future for all of us. Okay, section 1. To really appreciate where we're going, you first have to understand where we've been. Let's talk about the old way of doing things, a system that, frankly, often set projects up for disconnection and a whole lot of problems later on. For the longest time, the construction industry has worked kind of like a relay race, right? The architects and engineers, they'd finish their part, wrap up a complete set of plans, and then just toss it over a wall to the contractors. It's all very sequential, very linear, which means there's virtually no real collaboration when it matters most, in those crucial early design stages. And this slide really puts that difference in sharp contrast. Over on the left, you've got the old way, these vertical silos. Each team is in its own world, separated by contractual walls. But look to the right. That's the modern integrated approach. Key builders are in the room from the beginning, collaborating while the design is happening. It's a massive shift from a relay race to a true team sport. So, if silos are the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's the integrated team. And this isn't just a minor tweak to the org chart. It's a whole new philosophy of collaboration that completely changes how projects get started. And really, it all boils down to one powerful word: trust. The old model pretty much pitted people against each other, with everyone defending their own contract. The new model, which you'll often hear called Integrated Project Delivery, or IPD, it requires a complete mindset shift. Everyone has to be focused on one shared goal: the success of the entire project. Now, the engine that drives this new philosophy is the cross-functional team. And this isn't just about having a few more meetings. It's about building one unified team from the very beginning. The owner, the designers, the general contractor, and even key specialty subcontractors. All their combined knowledge gets baked into the project's DNA right from the start. Okay, so who exactly is on this dream team? Who are the key players in this new collaborative world? Let's break down the roles and see who's who on a modern pre-construction team. This table lays it all out pretty clearly. The owner defines the why, the design team figures out the what. But here's the absolute game changer. Look at the roles of the general contractor and the subcontractors. Instead of just bidding on a finished design, they're now at the table, actively co-creating it. They bring that invaluable real-world insight on cost and buildability before any big, expensive decisions are set in stone. Now, these teams are also structured very intelligently. It's not just one big chaotic meeting. They often form smaller sub-teams that are focused on the major systems of the building itself, like the structural team, the enclosure team, or the MEP team. This makes sure the right expertise is focused on the right problems. And leadership isn't static either. It can flow from a design lead early on to a construction lead as you get closer to breaking ground. Okay, so having the right people in the room, that's half the battle. But how do they actually work together day in and day out without stepping on each other's toes? The answer is a structured digital workflow that's enabled by technology. This is really the crucial question, isn't it? We have the philosophy. We have the team. So how do we connect all of that to the practical, everyday process of actually making smart decisions and moving the project forward? Well, the modern workflow, it isn't a straight line. Think of it more as a continuous loop. The team plans together using shared digital models. They communicate constantly. Then they take all that valuable feedback, from the contractor about a tricky detail or from the owner about the budget, and use it to refine the plan. And then they do it all over again, constantly improving and de-risking the project before a single shovel ever hits the ground. Now, this collaboration isn't just a free-for-all. It's guided by some really powerful, proven methodologies. You have lean construction, which is all about maximizing value and relentlessly cutting out waste. You have BIM, or Building Information Modeling, which isn't just a 3D drawing, it's a rich, data-filled digital prototype that everyone can share and work from. The last planner system ensures plans are realistic by involving the very people who will be doing the work. And as we mentioned, IPD provides that contractual glue that holds it all together. And let's be honest, technology is the great enabler here. Cloud platforms mean everyone can access the latest information from anywhere. A common data environment creates that single source of truth we're always chasing. A digital twin is like a living virtual copy of the building that you can test and simulate on. And more, we're seeing AI tools that can optimize schedules and spot risks before they become real problems. Let's just double-click on the CDE for a second, because it is so incredibly important. Think of it as the project's shared brain, or its central digital library. By creating one single source of truth, it just eliminates the chaos of people working from old drawings or outdated information. It truly democratizes the data, giving everyone, from the architect to the specialist, the exact same level of insight. That is absolutely vital for real collaboration. So, we've gone from the old, siloed way of working to this new, integrated team powered by a digital workflow. Let's bring it all home and look at the results. At the end of the day, why does any of this matter? The benefits? Well, they're not just theories, they're real and they are significant. Research from firms like McKinsey has shown that this kind of integrated approach can slash project costs by up to 20%. By catching problems in the planning phase, you massively reduce your risk, which means fewer delays. All that efficiency of getting it right the first time translates directly to lower costs. And you know what? When you get that much expertise in one room, you create a hotbed for innovation that results in better, higher-performing buildings. So if you're going to take anything away from our time together today, let it be these 4 things. First, shift your thinking from silos to synergy. Second, early involvement from the construction team is absolutely non-negotiable. Third, you have to embrace technology. It's the backbone of this whole process. And finally, always remember that a strong, collaborative pre-construction phase is the single best investment you can make for project success. And with that, we've pretty much covered our whole roadmap. We've compared the old versus the new, we've met the modern team, we've understood the workflow, and we've seen the digital tools that power it. The bottom line is this: by truly mastering pre-construction, we're not just planning buildings anymore. We are architecting their success before a single dollar is ever spent on site. I'll leave you with one final thought to ponder. We've already seen this huge evolution from silos to synergy, thanks in large part to digital tools, but this is really just the beginning. As artificial intelligence and automation become even more deeply integrated into our daily workflows, how will these human collaborative teams need to evolve to build the even more complex, more amazing structures of tomorrow? For those of you who want to dive deeper, here are some of the key sources that informed this explainer. Thank you for joining me today on Bodhi Unified Flow.